Hello and welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Patrick Reyes, and on today's show we have Deb Lynch. She is the Secretary and Media Spokesperson for the Medical Cannabis Users Association of Australia. Welcome to the show, Deb.
Thank you, and thank you for asking us to speak with you today.
Hey, you're very welcome. Now, can you give us a backstory on how you discovered the benefits of cannabis?
Personally, how I discovered the benefits of cannabis?
Yes.
I had a spinal injury which required surgery, and the surgery failed after 12 months, and I've had chronic back pain ever since. And it was actually suggested to me, because the opiates weren't working, to help with the pain and the muscle spasming, and I found at that time that it did help. Later on, I actually spoke with a psychiatrist at the time because I'd been treated for PTSD since 1977, and he explained to me that because I told him that I had been using cannabis and that I had found that it was helping with my anxiety and whatnot, and he explained to me that the THC in my case, because my anxiety, my normal emotional state is hysteria, and the THC actually doesn't get me high, it actually brings me back down to normal where I can focus and function. So I started in 2012. I replaced 40 years of antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications and antipsychotics with cannabis, and I haven't looked back. Then after that, I developed an autoimmune disease called limited scleroderma. I went through all of the mainstream processes and exhausted all treatment options by 2014. My only recourse after that was opiate pain relief. I had digital ulcers for the last one I had for 8 months, which wouldn't heal, and the doctors were just at a loss as to what to do with me. And I just found the MCUA quite by accident and started learning about cannabis medicine.
Now, what is it exactly that MCUA of Australia does?
Okay. MCUA of Australia is a patient advocacy group lobbying nationally for all Australians to have unrestricted, affordable access to cannabis therapeutics. We also have a Facebook group which was set up specifically for Australians as we want to show the government statistics on use and prospective use. We check all profiles for members, and we apologise for the international support that we reluctantly have to decline. We started as a Facebook group in 2014 in June, and we've just topped 12,000 Australian members. We also became an incorporated association a year later in 2015, and we now have our own webpage to reach more people who don't use Facebook, and our website is www.mcuainc.org.au.
Again, that website was www.mcuainc.org.au. Now, going back to medicinal cannabis, what are some of the benefits?
It's enabled people to feel safe about coming out of the cannabis closet when they see others talking about their use, from an MCUA perspective. And we would hope that the benefits, that the lawmakers, it benefits the lawmakers by getting them to know that their constituents, want from them. It connects people with experience, skills and knowledge, people who are hungry for information, and we hope the doctors would utilise the skill base that we have. Some of our healers have been making cannabis medicine for decades, but so far the medicos prefer to ignore this asset. We can offer healthcare professionals discounts on courses that offer continuing education points through our affiliation with the US-based education provider now, rather than them having to wait until a specific course is written by Australian academia who are new to this idea of cannabis as medicine rather than as an illicit drug. It benefits. I haven't heard of one single person who it hasn't benefited in some way, be it being able to get off prescription medications that were absolutely destroying their quality of life, to people who have cured cancer within our group, and people who no longer, like myself, opiates were not killing the extreme pain levels that I had. Cannabis does. As single person that I've spoken to, and we've got 12,000 members, I've not had one person who hasn't had some benefit in some way.
All right. What is currently the legal status of medical cannabis in Australia?
That depends on how many secret meetings the government has and regulation changes behind closed doors. Recently we had the Federal Health Minister, Susan Ley, with approval from Prime Minister Turnbull and his cabinet, made discretionary changes to the therapeutic goods regulation that take away the legal rights of seriously ill and dying patients to be able to access any form of cannabis through Category A, including Schedule 4, cannabidiol, CBD, even if it is CBD hemp oil from the low or no THC industrial cannabis plant, which is sold overseas as a food supplement. These politicians have to have their political donors to answer to, and that's the main reason why they're spending so much time and energy blocking our access, I think.
Now, are there any side effects to using medicinal cannabis?
Side effects? With the THC, for instance, if you take more than your body is able to cope with at that time, you can have a situation where the psychoactive effect takes effect, but you can counteract that very easily by having a glass of orange juice with a quarter of a teaspoon of black pepper in it. The terpenes in the black pepper and the orange juice actually counteract the THC effect. So, and that's really the only. CBD can do the same thing in some people. CBD can actually promote a psychoactive effect in some people. This is why, our government and our medical professionals here don't seem to understand that it's a personalised thing. It's not a one medicine fits all. They're not going to be able to say, okay, here's your cannabis medicine. At the moment, they are hoard by THC. I don't know what their problem is, because THC is one of the most important ingredients in helping people with cancer and epilepsy and chronic pain and all sorts of manner of disease states.
What I would like to know is there a difference between cannabis that is recreational and cannabis that is medicinal?
In our opinion, all use is medicinal. It's all therapeutic. Now, ask yourself, why do these people smoke in the first place? Is it because they have anxiety? Is it because they don't want to drink too much alcohol? No one is asking the questions behind what they're calling recreational. Every single person gets a therapeutic effect out of it. So are these people actually treating themselves without really knowing?
Obviously, when it comes to other people, when they hear cannabis, they'll think, okay, this might be illegal. But what is the biggest misconception you've heard about medicinal or medical cannabis that you would like to clear up?
That I would like to clear up. We're not sure the public have any misconceptions about the MCUA, because we've never wavered from our stance that we need home growing as the best and only solution to get access as quickly as possible to the greatest number of people. But as far as the misconceptions for the medical profession, there's a great deal of confusion about the definitions of medical cannabis. Single molecule or CBD only and hemp oil and hemp seed oil are not medicinal cannabis, and this drives us nuts. Full extract cannabis oil, Rick Simpson oil, cold tinctures, dabs, waxes and oils bring the best results, and no wonder the doctors here are baffled. And this is where our communal knowledge bank and personal trials could be utilised rather than being shunned and ignored. This keeps us awake at night. Many people will want only a pharma medicine because that's what they're conditioned to. But those who are familiar with cannabis herbal medicine want to grow their own strains for their specific needs. They know about titration. Cannabis is a food with a therapeutic value, not a dangerous narcotic. Doctors and politicians here need to wrap their heads around that concept and get down off their moral high horses and listen to their patients. I'm sorry.
All right, and what's a message you'd like to give our audience as to being part of our show today?
Look out for us next year. We have lots of things planned next year. Our members are very, very eager to get accurate information out into the community. So we're actually talking about having market stalls right throughout Australia, where our individual members around Australia will set up market stalls and they will help educate the people within their community. And we've also got 3 new trailers that we've had made that we're actually planning a cannabis journey around Australia, educating people with our information that we'll have contained in those trailers.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you today, Deb.
Thank you so much, and thank you to Health Professional Radio, and I hope to speak to you again one day.
Now, you've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Patrick Reyes, and we've been in conversation with Deb Lynch, the Secretary and Media Spokesperson for the Medical Cannabis Users Association of Australia, as we talked about medical cannabis and its uses and hopefully cleared up any misconception about cannabis that others may have. Now, if you've missed our conversation or if you'd like to listen to this interview again, transcripts and audio of this program are available at healthprofessionalradio.com.au and also at hpr.fm, and you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes.